And Curtis 5th, 6th, and 7th right now. Quintessing, PA. Kevin Fenn running in that second spot in the 4D. Here comes racing Ralphie. Ralphie Spitaler coming up into that third spot into Liebert 73. For the 4th, 5th, and 6th spots. Finelli, Terry Young, Dave Jones, and for 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th right now. Gary Christ pulling out a stretch. Mike Roxbury into the pits. Gary Christ pulling out a big lead. 4 down, 4 to go. Race. Right now, the battle for 3rd. Kevin Fend and Frank Tonelli. Frank Tonelli will go Fend and Jones. Looking at the 2-lap signal. 5. For your leader, State Motors, the Tri-State Sports, number 55, having a big lead down about. Looking at the checkered flag, Gary Christ Jr., your winner. 2nd spot, going to be Joe Liebert. In the Joe Liebert 73, be racing Ralphie. 3rd, Frank Tonelli. 4th spot, Dave Jones in the 82. Rick Anderson on the pole. Rick Anderson taking early lead in the 48. All right. Pulls off, heads into the pits. And the yellow going to come out. Schuler, Tim Hoffman. And Jerry Spence not sounding well down the front stretch. And coming around a complete lap, too. Rick Anderson continuing. Mike Kekich right now, battle shaping up for that 3rd spot. In the World of Wheels, 24. Goob Schuler running in that 3rd spot into Sanders, 61. The 2 of Jerry Spence. Right now we got a tight one for 5th and 6th. Gary Fend and Tim Hoffman. Coming around to complete lap 5. Go. Rick Anderson. Straightaway advantage over Kekich in the 5. And the yellow's out. The yellow's out for the 26 of Gary Fenn. Two to go. Rick Anderson out of Mercer having a real good run out in front in that 48. Mike Kekich running 2nd spot in the Unique Kitchens and Baths, number 5. Right now, James Ray and Goob Shore having it out for the 3rd and 4th spot. And here comes your winner, Rick Anderson in the 48. And taking 5th, Tim Hoffman in the 63. The next row will be the 5 of Chris Green's waving out of turn 4 we go. Hefke with the early lead in the 1 and 2. They drag a race down the front straight. Chris Hake trying out Nylon. Around and round we go. Doug Iorio hanging on that lead. Brian Bear running in that second spot. Third on the move in the Allegheny Outfitters, number 1 out of Newcastle, Gary Miller. 4th spot right now at 24, Dave Rhodes. Rounding out your top 5, the 28 of Craig Douglas. Jeff Hefke door to door out of turn 4. Brian Bear takes over the lead in the. Hefke gonna follow back into that second spot. Third will be Miller. Then it'll go Rhodes and Douglas. Craig Douglas looking for an inside line on. Doug Iorio right now rounding out your top 6. Just over the halfway point, leaders working on lap traffic. Ron Fennick could be in the thick of things. And he's going to slide on out and let your leaders on by. Six down, 2 to go. Having his way with things out in front into 30. And Miller going at it for that second and third spots right now. White flag waving one more time around for Brian Bear. Craig Douglas right now rounding out your top 5 into 28. And looking for the checkered flag, this time out of turn 4. Brian Bear into 31. Second spot, Jeff Hefke in at 29. Then it will go Miller. And here are your top 5. Coming on 5th will be Craig Douglas. Next row, the 23M of Tim Smith. On the outside of him, 39 of Chuck Hudsick. 3 out of 4, and we're racing. And John Benison taking a lead into 1 and 2. Tim Smith running second spot. And it'll go Dave Lewis rounding out the top 3. On the move. Bought this car last night. First. He said it's like moving from a Volkswagen to a Cadillac.
Here's your 271.
4th spot right now, Jim Quinn into 13. Coming along for the ride is the 9 of Gary Norman to round out your top 5. John Beniston into Majors Towing, 56 out in front. Second spot in the 23M. Then we'll go Hudson, Quinn, and Norman. And 6th spot will be Todd Roncaglione, and then Dave Jones, and Dave Lewis. Halfway go. New race leader. Alan Hudsick into 12. John Bennister running in that second spot. Third, Tim Smith. Right now, battle for that 4th and 5th spot. Gary Norman and Jim Quinn. Alan Hudsick putting on a drive. Started in the 5th spot right now. Your race leader, 6 down, 2 to go. This time we'll be looking at the white flag. Alan Hudsick one more time around. Right now, the big battle for the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th spots. 3rd, you got Norman. 5th and 5th spot is keep an eye on the 0 of Todd Roncaglione trying to get in a qualifying spot. Here's your winner, The 12M of Alan Hudzik. It's 19-360s checking in. And PJ 1 and 2. On the high side, Gary Edwards kicking a rooster tail up over by the Dallas W. Horseman side. Curry, your leader. Edwards running second. Third will be Waters. Brian Varner, Charlie Cornelius, and rounding out your top 6. And bicycling coming out of turn 4. Brian Varner keeps it moving. Working his way up through the field to 69K, Gary Rankin. Gary got 9th down at Lernerville last night in his own car. Right up in turn 2, the 42 of Bob Waters, and a yellow going to come out. Right now your top 5. PJ Kerr working to low. Charlie Cornelius in turn 4. Keep it moving. Goes back out 4-9. PJ Kerr continuing to lead this one. PJ sliding wide down low is going to be Gary Edwards. And Edwards taking the lead out of turn 2. That's going to put Kerr back to second. On the move from the tail. 4th spot in the 69K. This time around, they're looking to complete 6 down, 2 to go. Edwards, your leader. Kerr, Hartley, Ron Houck rounding out your top 5. White flag waving one more time around for Gary Edwards. Out of the 32. 3rd spot, there's your winner, Gary Edwards in the 61. Jimmy Hartley second in the 4H. 3rd, the 32 of Kerr. Early on the gas. Nope, got to bring the yellow back out. And going off on the hook is going to be Jack Soderman Jr. Look, the 63K of Randy Craigish. Also over there, the 17 of Gary McCollum. McEwen taking an early lead into 1 and 2. Heritage running in that 2nd spot. Mohai, Meaner, and Heritage. Mike Mohai moving up into that 2nd spot. I was talking to Doug Heritage earlier, and he said he was going to run on the high side if the car will work. Yeah, that's where he's trying to get her to go. Johnny Barlow trying to keep her moving. Up in turn 2, doesn't bring out. McEwen hanging on to the lead, 3 down, 5 to go. In that 2nd spot, Mohai, Meaner, and Henshaw rounding out your top 5. 6th spot will be Johnny Barlow into 57. Mike Henshaw moves up into 4th around Norm Meaner into 21. 4 down, 4 to go. And Johnny Barlow, 7. Up in turn 4, but he keeps her moving. 5 down, 3 to go. McEwen into Bill Stanton, 40. Well out in front of this one. Doug Heritage running in that 2nd spot. Then we'll go time. The 71 of Mike. And Norm Meaner rounding out your top 5. White flag waving one more time around for Joe McEwen. Checker flag waving. There's your winner, Joe McEwen. Second spot, Doug Heritage in a 2.8. Third, Mike Mulheim in a 38. Then it'll go to 71 of Mike Henshaw, and rounding out your top fighter. In the fifth spot, the 21, and out of turn 4. 8 laps is the distance. Side by side into the first turn, Fox and Powell. And Bruce Powell trying to take the lead through 3 and 4. Powell going to be early race leader. In the 25, heading off into the pits in the 25. So that's going to leave 6 cars on the track. Bruce Powell extending that lead into 35. Rick Fox running in second spot. Robert Eiler on the move. Out of Daniels up the front stretch. Back to the 4th spot. 5th spot is halfway. 4 down, 4 to go. The field right now in the 6th spot. And right now on 5th, the 43. And Robert Eiler in the 19. Having problems. Getting collected by a couple cars and spinning. Up in turn 2. And Robert Eiler round out your whole field. Down, 2 to go. Pressure on Fox out of turn 2. One more time around for 2. Gonna go green. Wally Milky gonna take the lead down the backstretch. Second spot, Chad Wright. Then we'll go Schaefer, Morocco, and Baker. Chad Wright's all years had a lot of motor problems. Seems like to be running well. Mike Kraft, number 9. Wally Milky into 41. Allegro Auto Services 41, having a good run. Starting to extend his lead right now. Right now on the inside is going to be the 7B. Jim Baker moving on the inside of Morocco up into the 4th spot. Going to put Morocco back to 5th in the 66. Boy, 4 in, 4 to go. Schaefer trying to improve on his position. Chad Wright goes wide out of turn 2. Schaefer trying to close in on the 18. Jim Baker right in there in that 7B. Rounding out the top 5, Mark Morocco in the 66. This time around, a white flag will be waving for Wally Milky. One more time around for the 41. And Aaron Schaefer into 17, or the 18, spins over in turn 2. And the checker's going to flag. There's your winner, Wally Milky in the 41. Second spot, Chad Wright's in the 9. Third will be the 7B of Jim Baker. Then we'll go to 66 of Morocco and the 24 of Keith Parks. To 4. 3 flags waving. Kevin Andruski into the first turn. He's also got a for sale sign on his micro tonight.
7 cars. 4.
The 00, JJ Kapuchak, gonna be heading into the pits. Kevin Andruski, though, taking the lead down the backstretch. George Garris running in that second spot. Rod J, Mark Spence, and out the field right now. Kevin Andruski getting the pressure right now from the 53. George Garris right now in that 53 trying to get around Andruski. 4 down, 4 to go. Coming out of turn 2, Andruski looking to see where the competition is, looking over his shoulder. Right over his shoulder, he sees that yellow 53 of George Garris. Here comes Rod Jones in the 82. Rod Jones running that 80. Spot, Lonnie McConaughey moving up into 5th. John Carpenter into 2, getting around the 36 of Spence, but Spence comes right back at him. White flag out this time around. One more lap to go. Checker flag will be waving this time around. Kevin Andruski, your winner. George Garris coming home second. Third will be Rod Jones. 4th spot, the 85, Lonnie McConaughey. And the 5th spot, the 36, Mark Spence. Your top 5 cars, Mark. Chris Brockway, Jeff Cavalli, and Mike Gilliland bring out the green flag. Coming from the back of the pack, trying to work on the high side. The 59, Bill Cunningham. Cunningham in a Frumel Diecrafts, 59, trying to get his way up through there. But your race leader is the number 4, Chris Brockway on the inside. Trying to put the inside move is the 67 Wyatt, Jack Young. Brockway running about the middle of the track. Jack Young on the low side. Drag each other down the backstretch. Jack Young going to move into that second spot. In the lead, in the 67. Got to put Brockway back to second in the 4. Third will be Bob McCann in the USA 1. Fourth spot's going to be Cunningham. Riding out the top 5 will be the 28 of Gilliland. So got a good hot race up front. Jack Young out of Paynesville. Chris Brockway running in that second spot in the 4. Then we'll go the USA 1 of McCann, Cunningham, and Gilliland to round out your top 5. 6 down, 2 to go. White flag waving one more time around. Who's it going to be, Jack Young or Chris Brockway? Jack continuing to lead down the backstretch, stretching out. The 4 Brockway and the checkered flag waving. Chris Brockway coming home second. Third will be the USA 1 of Bob McCann. 4th spot will be the 59 of Bill Cunningham. 69 of Gary McGregor. Bruce Stedman in the 69. Starting in the last row, the 67 back. Caglione taking an early lead up into the first. Rusty Moore running in that second. Fraley in a 2:17, and Beck rounding out your top four. Gonna lose a few. Ron Caglione, your race leader, second spot. And the yellow is out for Wendell Pickney into 7C. And Rod Ortman, your top 5 cars right now. And Ron Caglione maintaining his lead on the restart. Rusty Moore in the Churchill's Refuge 17. Third in the Quicksilver 2:17, Howard Fraley. And you got Rod Ortman moving up into the top 5 to 79. Gary McGregor. Here comes Bruce Stedman on the inside of Tommy Peck. Peck still trying to figure out. And Beck looks like he's going to be going to the pits in the 91. Yeah, looks like he changes his mind. Keep on moving. 4 down, 4 to go. And Moore right now looking on the inside of Ron Caglione. And it turns. Ron Caglione sliding wide. And Rusty Moore trying to get that inside line. A little too hard on the gas. Going to drop him way back in the pack. That'll put Howard Fraley up into the 17. Third, Rod Ortman in the 67. And 6 down, getting the final 2 in. 4th spot, Bruce Stedman, and rounding out your top 5, the 7C of Wendell Pickney. White flag waving one more time around. Ron Caglione one more time around. Howard Fraley in the 2:17, holding on that second spot. But here comes Rod Ortman in the 67. Checker flag waving, and there's your winner. Ron Caglione. Second spot, Howard Fraley. Third will be Rod Ortman. The 69 of
71. 3.
And your top 5, Wendell Pickney coming home in the 5th spot in the 7th. And we're racing out of turn 4. 4 laps is the distance. Doug Heritage, your race leader, and gets way wide out of turn 2. That's going to give the advantage to Jimmy Hartley in the 4H. Second spot's going to be Joe McEwen. Third, Edwards, and rounding out the field, the 2H, Doug Heritage. And Heritage going to be going off into the pits. Next time around, we'll be looking at the white flag. Joe McEwen and Gary Edwards going at it for that second spot. Edwards on the inside, McEwen on the high side. This time around, checker flag will be waving. Here comes your winner, the 4H of Jimmy Hartley. Second spot, Gary Edwards. Third, Joe McEwen.
30-something during the weekend. I'm not sure if she voted in the racetrack or not. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy Hartley, your major sewing dash winner. Check. Okay.
Slick. It's real slick. I think we're hooked up fairly well. If we can keep the motor running clean on the bottom, I think we'll be there in the feature, but it's really slick. Car's working good. Car's working good down low, and it's coming off the corners reasonably well. I don't know if we can run with the 61 car or not in the slick track. He's coming off the corners really strong, but we're going to shoot for him.
And your sponsors on the car.
Of course, Mike from Majors Towing and Course Grips Engines and Water Pro Softeners.
Okay, once again, Jimmy Hartley, your Major 360 Sprint feature. Come here, Jimmy.
And we want to thank Jim Ballantyne for that. Jimmy doing double duty the last couple weeks, taking care of the on-track interviews. Coming up next will be the autograph session for the micros. We'll bring all the micros out on the track. So get all the young ones together, get them down there. We'll take about 15 minutes or so everybody can get their autographs taken care of. So if you're a fan of the micros, go on down to Evansburg tomorrow. The races start at 6 o'clock. Gates open at 3:30. Thanks, Chuck. Chuck Bollinger up here selling the Tri-State Auto Racing News. All out RPMs. He says he's done selling the RPMs, but if he want one, I'm sure he has one. He'll have the new ones next week, but he does have the Tri-State. Five of Mike Kekich. The next row 5, will be the 73 of Ralph Spithaler. On the outside of him will be the in the first turn we go. Curtis Stewart taking the early lead. Gary Fenn running in that second spot. Goob Schuler on the move in the 61. James Ray running third right now in the 24. On the move is the 82 of Dave Jones. And we'll go back to the 48 of Rick Anderson. And Fenn moving all the way back to the tail. And we got one spot in the infield. Frank Tonelli in the infield. And back to green. Curtis Stewart in the Choice Chassis 12S. Hanging on that lead down the backstretch. Goob Schuler running in that second spot. Dave Jones third. Fourth spot right now, Eric Fire, number 5 of Mike Kekich. On the move, Gary Kreis in the 55.
4, 28, 53, R, 14, 2, and 3R. Leader, 12.
Stretching out his lead, Curtis Stewart. Right now, big battle in the middle of the pack. Tim Hoffman, Kevin Fenn, Dave Giddings, Mike Roxbury, and the 53 is C.W. Harshman. All battle in the middle of the pack. And we got a stretch. The 3 of Rick Strasser. Green on a 4. And back up into the first turn. Stewart hanging on that lead. 3 wide down the backstretch. Kekich back to the 6th spot in the 5. On a move in the 55, up in the 5th. In the middle of the pack right now, trying to get up in there is the 42 of Arnie Kent. Also trying to get up in there, the 28 of Dave Giddings, the 93 wide, Terry Young. Curtis Stewart having a good run out in front, stretching out his lead over that second spot. Goob Schuler running second. Rick Anderson running in that third spot. Dave Jones, Gary Kreis, Mike Kekich, and the 73 are racing Ralphie Spithaler. Right now, we're running in that 6th spot. Spithaler right now looking on to get on the inside of Kekich down the backstretch. Spithaler looking to move into the 5th spot. And a red flag is out. Looking to go back to green.
Restart 271 feature. Now
Down, and a red is out. Terry Young. Taylor, and the green's out coming out of turn 4. And Stewart taking up where he left off, pulling away from the field. Schuller running in that second spot. Anderson third. Rick Anderson trying to get on the inside of Goob Schuller, working through 3 and 4. Fourth spot right now. Dave Jones running that new 82 today. Mike Kekich moving up into the 5th spot. And Gary Kreis comes right back at him into 55. Here comes Arnie Kent in the Swantech 42T. 10 down, 10 to go. Ralph Spithaler working on the high side of the track. Dave Giddings down low into 28. Spithaler on the high side. Gonna lose another spot to Mike Roxbury in a 3R. But right now, side by side, Arnie Kent and Mike Kekich on the move, the 14, Frank Chinelli. Chinelli right now moving up into the 8th spot in the 14. 13 laps down, trying to get the final 7 in here. And Stewart running well. Half a straightaway advantage over Schuller in the 61. Right now, everybody running pretty much single file, pretty much evenly spaced all the way around the track. 15 down, 5 to go. Frank Chinelli trying to get on the inside of the 42 of Arnie Kent down the backstretch. Kent, last week's feature winner, right now running in that 6th spot. Your leader right now working on lap traffic, Tim Hoffman in the 63, right in front of your leader. Hoffman going to slide on wide. Your leader's on by. Stewart with a big lead. To go. Curtis Stewart with a big lead, trying to get this final lap. Second spot, Goob Schuller in the 61. Rick Anderson, Gary Kreis, and Dave Jones round out your top 5. Frank Chinelli on the inside of Arnie Kent. Half a lap to go for your leader. Here comes your winner. And your winner in the 12S, Curtis Stewart. Second spot is going to be the 61 of Goob Schuller. Third, the 48A of Rick Anderson. The 82 of Dave Jones. Fourth spot, the 55 of Gary Kreis. Third spot will be the 48A of Rick Anderson. Second spot, the 61 of Goob Schuller. And taking a win in the Choice Chassis 12S will be Curtis Stewart. And we'll get out of Jim Ballantyne down on the track. Good, Jimmy.
Check, 1, 2. We'll give him a minute to get out of the car. First ever feature win, ladies and gentlemen, Curtis Stewart. Well, Curtis, you've had a really tough year. You've had a fuel line break, engine problems, a very nasty flip at Challenger. How's it feel to win your first finally? How about your sponsors? I'd like to thank them tonight.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Choice Chassis. Couldn't do it without Tom and Gina. Fisher Cycle, Gainer Auto Body, Frank Martusio Paving.
And how about your crew and everybody?
Yeah, Don, he comes and sets the car up. He can look at the track and set the car up like no one can. My brother Neil and his son. If it wasn't for them working all week, I would never be ready.
And how long have you been racing for?
2.5 years.
2.5 years, first career feature win tonight. Curtis Stewart, ladies and gentlemen.
And we want to thank Jimmy Valentine for taking care of that. And Mr. Vern Hawley going to be down there. Congratulate Stewart on his first feature win. Also, Mr. Tommy Marichek, owner of Choice Chassis down there. And I'll get the whole crew in. Everybody get their picture taken. Coming up next will be the Kirtles Refuge Pure Stocks. One more time, how about a big round of applause for your first time on Caglione. On the outside of him, last week's feature winner, Doug Iorio in the 48. Then we'll go to the 44R of Gary Robinson. On the outside of him will be the 12 of Bob McConnell. Then we'll go to the 5 of Chris Hake. On the outside of him, Dave Lewis in the 87. And the next 20 laps is the distance. And into the first turn, Dave Rhodes taking the early lead. Beniston in the second spot, Norman running third. Miller, Smith, and Hefke right now. Keep an eye on that 12M. Alan Hudzik. And a couple cars going to be going off with flat tires. Craig Douglas down the backstretch, coming to a stop along with the 13. And the yellow's out. And the greens are waving. Rhodes continuing to lead this one. Second spot's going to be the 9 of Gary Norman. Rhodes slides wide. Norman taking a low line out of turn 2. They race down into turn 3 and 4. Norman on the inside, Rhodes on the outside. Dave Rhodes working the high line, getting her to work down the front stretch. And your new race leader is going to be the 9 of Gary Norman. Right now they're coming up on lap traffic. The 48 of Ron Fennick. Fennick slides on the high side. Dave Rhodes continuing to work at high line. And right now, the 48 of Ron Fennick spins in front of the crowd. And we're going back to green. Up the front stretch we go. Dave Rhodes taking a lead into 1 and 2. Sliding wide. He's getting that high side to work. And running like a train down the backstretch. Craig Douglas back out into 28, 2 laps down from your leaders. Working at a high line, though, Dave Rhodes. Tim Smith in the 23M also moving way to the high side. And it looks like he might get it to work. He's getting around the 48 of Doug Iorio. Ted Miller trying out the infield, but he keeps it moving, not going to bring out the yellow. And look at that pack back here for the 3rd, 4th, and 5th spots. Right now, we're running in that 3rd spot. Going to be John Beniston, 4th spot. Gary Miller in the 1. And Dave Rhodes. Out front, though, the number 9, Gary Norman. Working on lap traffic. Doug Iorio running in that 2nd spot. 3rd, John Beniston, and it'll go Miller, Rhodes, and Smith. Tim Smith again running on that high side, and the yellow's out. Gary Norman, Doug Iorio, John Beniston. Your top 3 cars. Beniston started on the pole. Here comes Gary Miller on the inside of the 56. Down the backstretch trying to take over that 3rd spot. Tim Smith in the 23M still working on that high line. Smith might have found a good place to work the car. This time he elects to move the middle of the pack. And down low, working a little line down the backstretch. Smith moves up in the 4th spot past Miller. And Doug Iorio and Gary Norman side by side down the backstretch. Tad Miller could play into this one in the 93C. Norman works on the high line. Iorio down low, and the yellow's out for the 31 and the 29. John Beniston, Tim Smith. Halfway, 10 down, 10 to go. Doug Iorio and the Iorio Trucking 48 starting to pull away from the rest of the pack. 2nd spot, Gary Norman at the end of number 9, running in 2nd. 3rd, John Beniston. And a couple cars getting together over in turn 3, or 1 and 2, and Steve Diapolito sitting in the infield trying to get it fired up. Your leader, Doug Iorio, will be working on lap traffic. Here comes Gary Norman. Norman looking to make a race out of it. 3 cars right now for that 3rd spot. Todd Roncaglione, Tim Smith, and John Beniston. And the yellow's out for the
39 and 93C.
On the gas we go. And here we go, right back at it, hammer and tong up into the first turn down a backstretch. Doug Iorio, Gary Norman, Todd Roncaglione, Tim Smith, Todd Roncaglione into 0 on the move. 15 down, 5 to go. Here comes Craig Douglas.
5:31.
Craig Douglas is 2 laps down from your leaders.
84:39. Leader.
Doug Iorio, 4 laps to hang on to that lead.
5:31:13. 1:26.
Second spot still going to be Gary Norman, Todd Roncaglione. Then we'll go Tim Smith, John Beniston, and the 12M of Alan Hutzik. And the greens are waving. Into the first turn we go, trying to get the final 3 laps in. Norman decides to go to the high side. Here comes Todd Roncaglione on the inside of Norman through 3 and 4. 18 down, final 2 to go. Anybody's race. Todd Roncaglione's going to put the 9 Norman back to 3rd. And this time around, white flag a waving. 1 lap dash for the win. Iorio, Roncaglione, Norman, Smith, and Hutzik. This time around, checkers waving. Here's your winner, the 48, Doug Iorio, 2 for 2. Okay, here are your top 5 cars. Coming on 5th will be Alan Hutzik in the 12M. 4th spot, the 23M of Tim Smith. 3rd will be the 9 of Gary Norman. 2nd spot, Todd Roncaglione. And taking a win out of the car, let him hear it, Doug Iorio, 2 weeks in a row. We'll go down to Jimmy on the track.
Check, 1, 2. Doug, 2 wins in a row. How's the car handling?
Real good. It's about the same as I can. A lot of coming from up front, that's for sure.
And how about your sponsors on the car?
Yeah, trucking, walking, sandblasting, Hook Cycle Repair, Jim Zane, everybody that sponsors me anything.
Okay, once again, from Newcastle, your future winner, Doug Iorio.
That makes 3 feature wins for Doug Iorio on the year so far. Down there getting his picture taken with Miss Hickory Motor Speedway, Miss Dana Engelmeyer, and the whole crew will be getting in there. And Doug down there with a big falling fan club down there. Congratulating them on that win. Him will be the number 9 of Chad Wrights. The second row will be the 22 of Todd Daniels. On the And Keith Parks taking a rough ride here in the front stretch.
24.
For a real nasty flip.
And we're back to racing out of turn 4. Randy Schwabenbauer in the 17, not coming up to par. And the yellow back out for the 0-0 of J.J. Kapuchak. And Chad not coming up to par over in turn 4. And 35 of Bruce Powell going to be a race leader. Here comes Wally Milky into 41 on the high side.
35, 41, 53, 22, 78, 31, 23, 2, 7, 33.
George Garris back into that third spot, I'm sorry. Fourth spot,
35, 41.
going to be the 7B of Jim Baker. And your leader's working on a 17, Randy Schwabenbauer.
5, 66, 19,
Bruce Powell
4,
with a handful of wins already this year.
0, clear.
Continuing to lead this one. On the move right now is the 31 of Rick Fox. On the outside of the 43, Scotty Thompson. And Scott Thompson right now looking to get on the inside of Fox. And on the move, the 43 of Rick Fox. The 43 of Scott Thompson. And the yellow's out for the 22 of Todd Daniels. The green's back out. Coming around to complete lap 4.
35.
Bruce Powell continuing to pull away from the rest of the field. On the move, though, is the 53 of George Garris. Getting around to 41 of Wally Milky. Here comes the 7B. Jim Baker on the move, and the yellow's out for the 58 of Tom Crawford. And I do want to remind everybody we are on a 30-minute time limit, but when the red does come out, the clock does stop.
0. And then 58, I guess.
Bruce Powell hanging on to that lead down the backstretch. George Garris running in that second spot. Wally Milky. The 43, Scott Thompson back into the pits.
44, 9, 58, and 00.
On the move right now, George Schuster into 33.
Leader, 35, 58,
George Schuster does have a feature win earlier in the season. Looking to get on the inside of Wally Milky into 41. Along with Schuster comes the 7 of Kevin Andruski. Andruski on the inside of Milky, gonna put Wally back into the 5th spot. 6th spot right now, Lonnie McConaughey in the 85. A lot of sparks coming off the back of that 35 of Bruce Powell. Must be bottoming out, going into 1 and 2. Here comes Chad Wrights in the 9, getting on the inside of Lonnie McConaughey. Chad right now moving up into 6th. Halfway, 10 down, 10 to go. Bruce Powell, about 9.5 more laps. George Schuster on a move into 33. Gets around George Garris into 53. Puts him up into the 2nd spot.
35, 33, 53, 7, 9, 41.
Schuster moving on his way, trying to catch your leader, Bruce Powell. Garris running in that 3rd spot. Kevin Andruski 4th, and rounding out your top 5, the 9 up, Chad Wrights. Everybody right now running pretty much single file, and the yellow's out. Bringing it up the pipe. Kevin Andruski going to try to move his way back up through the field into 7. Chad Wright's on the move in the light craft number 9 up in the 3rd. Getting around to 53, George Garris. And Wright's now on the inside. On the move. Bruce Powell continuing to hang on the lead down the backstretch. Chad Wright's putting on the move. Working his way up through the pack.
35, 9, 53, 33, 41,
53 of George Garris running in that 3rd spot. George Schuster 4th. Wally Milky 5th. And rounding out your top 6, Lonnie McConaughey in the 35. 18 down, 2 to go. Bruce Powell looking to get another win, but here comes Chad Wrights. He's going to have something to say about this white flag waving. One more time around. Who's it going to be? Bruce Powell or Chad Wrights? Chad going to try her to the high side. And a checker flag waving. And there's your winner, Bruce Powell into 35. Chad Wrights 2nd. 3rd to 53. In the 35, we'll get on to Jimmy on the track, and I'll give you the top 5 after they're done down there. Okay, Jimmy, you're on.
Okay, as he climbs out of the car after a long dry spell, ladies and gentlemen, Bruce Powell. Okay, Bruce, it's been a while. How's it feel to be back in Victory Lane?
Oh, it feels good after all the bad luck.
How was the car handling tonight?
Real good. The track was nice and smooth. A little bit hard, but it felt really good.
And how about your sponsors? Like to thank them?
Yeah, Hooter Chassis, Hobby Shop, they're like right there for me all the time. Wood and Wood Diversified, Woods Gravel, and Professional Cycle and Carpenter's Towing. I want to thank everybody I got, and Tom Marichek from Choice Chassis. I mean, I wouldn't be out here if it wasn't for him. He helps me out a great deal.
And how about your crew?
Well, I want to thank James Ray and Ray Racing Team for helping me out too. They do a lot for me. And I got my dad and my wife Tammy, Tommy Greenlee, Glenn Singleton, Helen Singleton. Oh, I don't know if Sally. And I guess that's about everybody.
Okay, well, picking up another feature win tonight, Bruce Powell in the micro sprint feature.
Okay, your top 5, Wally Milky coming home 5th in a 41. 4th spot will be the 33 of George Schuster. 3rd will be the 53 of George Garris.
25.
In the 2nd spot will be the 9 of Chad Wrights. And your winner, one more time, give this young man a big hand. 6 wins. Bruce Powell in the 35.
2V.
6 wins this year.
43.
Rod has a couple wins already this season. Starting on a pole in the 67. On the outside of him, Bob McCann in the USA 1. In your points leader in the Ram Automotive E-Mods is Ron Caglione with 340 to go. Green out of turn 4 and a green's waving. Already working his way up through the pack. Last week's feature winner in a 67 of Jack Young, and he spins. And we're going to go green, and the yellow comes right back out. And we're green up into the first turn. Bill Cunningham high on the high side. Into the first turn we go. Bob McCann in USA 1 taking a lead down the backstretch. Rod Ortman running second, third. Howard Fraley in a 217. The 17 of Rusty Moore into the pits. Bob McCann taking that lead into turn 3. Howard Fraley running second, third. Ron Ortman, Ron Caglione. Moving up in there is the 4, Chris Brockway. On the move right now is the 11H. And a lot of guys checking up. Wendell in the 7C and the 69 of Bruce Stedman. And back to racing we go. Bob McCann continuing to hang on to this one. Howard Fraley running second. Howard needs to have a good run. Had a good run in his heat. Howard looking at a high side in the 217. Third spot right now, Rod Ortman and the 217. Spinning out of turn 2.
Yellow flag.
Yeah, the green's back out. Rod Ortman out in front. Ortman with 2 wins this year already. Out in front, second spot. USA 1 of Bob McCann. Ron Caglione third, then we'll go
Clear.
the 67 to Jack Young and Chris Brockway.
0, 1, 4. 79.
Working his way up through the pack, the 59, Bill Cunningham, second place finisher last night at the Ace High Speedway. Right now on the outside of Rusty Moore in the 17. Running a strong sixth spot right now, the 11H, Rick Robinson. Only running one car tonight, blow up the Pierstock Thursday night. 3 cars right now, all for the 6th spot. Rusty Moore now on the inside of Rick Robinson trying to get into 6th. Moves Robinson back to that 7th spot. Then it'll go Bill Cunningham into 59. Cunningham on the inside of Robinson moves into the 7th. It's going to put Robinson back to 8th. Then it'll go Wendell Pickney, Howard Fraley, the 79 of McGregor, and the 71 of Jason Stellan. Rounding out the field, the 28 of Mike Gill. And right now, you got 5 cars all going for the lead. The 67 of Rod Artman still hanging on that low line. These heat mods work out low line through 3 and 4. USA 1 of Bob McCann running in that 2nd spot. 3rd will be Ron Caglione. And that 4th spot, Jack Young. And rounding out your top 5, the 4 of Chris Brockway. Single file. 11 laps in, looking to get the final 9. Rod Artman already with 2 wins on this season, having a good run out in front. Everybody hugging that low line through 1 and 2. Chris Brockway trying to get on Jack Young through 1 and 2, doesn't get her to go. Got to maintain that 5th. Rusty Moore and Bill Cunningham looking to come up into the picture. Here's coming up on lap traffic. And right now, lap traffic could play into the picture. Artman works on a low line. Here comes McCann down low. Everybody checking up right now. Got some lap traffic in front of him. Gary McGregor going to go a lap down. The 0, Ron Caglione trying to get on the inside of the USA 1 of Bob McCann. Mike Gilliland right now working to the high side, letting your leaders on by. Jack Young up into 3rd. That's going to put Ron Caglione in the 4th. 5th spot, the US, it will be the 4 of Chris Brockway. Leaders coming around traffic. Jason Stella, next one to go down. Looks like he has all the bugs worked out of that car this week. Rod Artman, 2 laps to go, 18 in, 2 to go. Artman having a real fine run. 4 cars right behind him, though, knocking on the door. The USA 1 of Bob McCann. White flag waving one more time around. The 0, Ron Caglione, Jack Young, and Chris Brockway. Here we come around 3 and 4 for the checkered flag. And there's your winner, Rod Artman into 67. USA 1 of Bob McCann coming home 2nd. 3rd to 0, Ron Caglione. 4th spot, Jack Young in a 67Y. 3rd will be the 0, Ron Caglione. second spot, the USA one of Bob McCann. And taking away in the third one for the year will be Rod Hartman in the 67. And we'll get down to Jimmy Ballantyne on the track. And Jim, you're on.
He comes out of the car, former microsprint driver, Rod Hartman. Rob, the whole race, you had McCann, Roncaglione, all those guys behind you. Did you see them at all or know they were back there?
Yeah, I could hear them coming. I knew they were mistaken. They'd have been all over with, you know what I mean?
How was the track tonight?
Yeah, the track was real smooth there. There wasn't much to bite to there at the end, but it's a pretty decent track tonight.
And how'd you like to thank your sponsors and your crew?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Shine Stainless Steel Exhaust and CTI Polaris, Jake Miller Trucking, my crew, George Ball, and Jake Miller, and Big Gary there for making it all happen.
Hey, once again, Rod Hartman, your E-Mod feature winner.
Thank you, Jimmy. Pole, Ron Houck on the outside. Norm Meter second row on the inside, on the outside. Brian Varner into 15. Everybody going to be stepping easy on that little dampness. And we're racing. Ron Houck on the high side, looking to take the lead off of Johnny Barlow. John Barlow going to be early race leader in the turn 3 and 4. Here comes Doug Heritage. Heritage trying to work the low side of Barlow. A lot of slicing and dicing back in the middle of the pack. And the yellow's out, 4-32 of PJ. The yellow out for PJ Kerr in the 32. We need everybody on the fence to find a seat, please. Thank you very much.
it seems.
Thank you, Jim. Down, and we're back to racing. Doug Heritage out of Garrettsville taking a lead. And Norm Meaner gets sideways. That's going to collect a couple guys with him, but it looks like everybody keeps moving out of turn 2. Heritage are running away out in front. Ron Houck running in that second spot. Third, Brian Varner, then we'll go to 69K. Gary Rankin running in that fourth spot. Here comes Mike Moheim. Mike Moheim on the move and gets a little wide and turned. And the yellow's out for the 38 on Mike Moheim and the 44 of Joe McEwen. Rankin and Edwards. Gary Edwards coming in there in the 61. Gary Edwards working a high side. Getting a little loose in turn 2, but he keeps her moving. Ron Houck having a fine run, running in that third spot, holding off Brian Varner right now. Gary Rankin running in that fourth spot. Gary Edwards. And here comes Gary McCullum into 17. Jack Soderman Jr. and a 23S. 8 spot right now, the 9 of Charlie Cornelius. Here comes P.J. Kerr running out the top 10 into 32. And your leader right now working on lap traffic. The 21 of Norm Meaner going to go a lap down to Doug Heritage. Heritage running on that high side down the backstretch. Tucks her in tight down through 3 and 4, back up high on the front straight. Right now he's working on lap traffic of Sheila Rankin and Denny Kapuchak. Tiptoeing his way on the high side in the marbles. Right now your leader, straightaway advantage over Ron Houck in that second spot. Third's going to be Brian Varner, but moving on to high side to 61. Gary Edwards looking around to get around Brian Varner. 4 cars right now for that second spot. Just over that halfway point. 11 down, 9 to go. Gary Edwards up into third, into 61, working on lap traffic. 4th spot's going to be Varner in the 15T. Then we'll go back to the 69K of Gary Rankin. 3 wide on the front stretch. And Edwards gets on the high side of Houck. Going to put Ron Houck back into that second spot, into the third spot. Gary Edwards in and out of traffic. And Denny Kapuchak bringing out the yellow. Brian Varner into the pits in the 15T. Down the front stretch we go. Heritage hanging on that lead. Edwards working on the high line. Ron Houck running in that third spot. 4th spot, Gary Rankin in the 69K. And we'll go back to Gary McCullum in the 17. Running out your top 6, Jack Soderman Jr. in the 23S. Here comes Charlie Cornelius in the 9. And P.J. Kerr again with problems up into turn 1. Green's back out. This time around, looking at 3 to go. Doug Harry's having a good run out there. Right now, the guy's having a real fine one. Ron Hauk running in that third spot in the 3. 18 down. White flag waving one more time around. Down the back stretch we go. Doug Heritage, one more turn. Here comes your winner, and Doug Heritage, your winner. Second spot to 61, Gary Edwards. Third, Ron Hauk. Fourth spot will be the 69K. And rounding out your top 5 will be the 17 of Gary McCullum. For this gentleman, Ron Hauk. Second spot will be Gary Edwards in the 61. And taking a win, second one of the season in the 2H out of Garrettsville. Coming to a stop here in the front stretch, Doug Heritage. Don't forget, next week, if you're heading home, will be autograph night for the E-Mods. There he is. He's out of the car. Let him hear it, folks.
As you're leaving, please be careful. Hope to see you back here next Saturday. Very happy crew down here. Second feature win of the year for Mr. Doug Heritage. Second feature of the year.
Feels good, man. Car was perfect. Perfect. Couldn't do no wrong. It's good to be.
How about your sponsors and your crew?
Auto Auction, Majors Towing, and Heritage Auto Transport. That's what keeps that thing going.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, as you're leaving, give him a big round of applause. Mr. Doug Heritage picking up his second feature win of the year. Tim, finish it off.
Okay, I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. Don't forget, if you're heading races tomorrow night, up Sportsman Speedway. Also Tuesday night, we'll be down at Lernerville. We'll be back next week with the E-Mods on for the autograph session. And I want to thank everybody for coming, and have a safe trip home.